All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a small clay tablet that holds just immense power. An object so revered it's actually earned a legendary title. It's called the Phra Somdet Rakhang. But here's the big question. What makes this tiny object the Emperor of Amulets, and how on earth can it be worth millions of dollars? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go way back to when it was first made. So this amulet was created way back in the 19th century by Somdet, who was one of Thailand's most respected monks. And get this, his goal wasn't money or fame, not at all. It was this incredible act of faith, to somehow take the 84,000 core teachings of Buddhism and crystallize them, preserve them in a physical form for literally all future generations. And this wasn't just some one-and-done thing. The creation of these amulets, it actually spanned decades. You can literally see the style evolve across 3 distinct eras. I mean, it goes from this simple, almost folk art kind of vibe in the early days, all the way to the stunning, refined craftsmanship of the late era, which, by the way, was handled by royal artisans. Pretty incredible. Okay, so this brings us to the really crucial question. What is this thing actually made of? The recipe? Well, it's this fascinating, almost magical blend of the truly sacred and the totally mundane. At its spiritual core, you've got the 5 sacred powders. But they're not just mixed in a bowl or anything, no. They're created through this really intense ritual. A monk writes these sacred inscriptions on a slate with chalk and then erases them. That chalk dust that's collected, that is the powder. Each one of the 5 powders is made just like this, and each one is believed to grant a very specific kind of power. And this is where things get really interesting, where the mystical collides with the everyday. That sacred powder, it was bound together with some very earthly stuff. Lime made from seashells, leftover cooked rice from the monk's own bowl, bananas, ash from incense, and even tung oil to keep it from cracking. It's this amazing contrast that really makes the amulet's substance so unique. Now, as you can probably guess, an object this valuable, it's going to attract a ton of fakes. So how do the experts tell a 150-year-old original from a modern forgery? Well, the answer isn't just in the artistry. It's hidden in the chemistry and in the unstoppable march of time itself. I mean, think about it for a second. Can you fake the passage of time? Over more than 150 years, the actual materials in the amulet start to change. We're talking about these subtle, irreversible transformations happening at a molecular level. And that is something a forger simply cannot fake. You put one under a high-powered microscope, and the difference is just night and day. A fake? It usually looks flat, lifeless, totally uniform. But a genuine amulet? Wow. It has this living, 3-dimensional texture. Experts call it a living topography. It's puffy, it's porous, and it has this depth that's been famously compared to a beer slush that's been slowly crystallizing over a century. How cool is that? So what's the science behind this? It's a process called calcite recrystallization. Here's how it works. Over decades and decades, that seashell lime, which is basically calcium hydroxide, reacts with carbon dioxide in the air. This reaction slowly hardens the amulet and actually grows brand new, stable calcite crystals. That's what creates that dense, living surface. It's a signature of age, a chemical fingerprint that forgers just can't fast forward. This leads to a really cool telltale sign that connoisseurs look for. They call it white lumps in loose pits. So what does that even mean? Well, as the amulet naturally shrinks and hardens over 100 years or so, these tiny, undissolved bits of the original seashell line get kind of pushed to the surface. It's this beautiful little imperfection, and it's one of the key proofs that you're looking at the real deal. Okay, but authenticity isn't just about chemistry, right? It's also about artistry. These amulets weren't just one singular design. A true collector's eye can recognize all the different styles, or phim, that's the Thai word for the molds that they were pressed in. There are several major styles, or phim, that you really gotta know. You've got the majestic Pim Yai, the large mold, that's the most popular one for sure. Then you have the Pim Songcheti, where the silhouette looks just like a Buddhist stupa. There's also the Pim Thon Sam with an extra line, and the Pim Ket Bua Tomb, shaped like a lotus bud. Each one is like a miniature work of art, and being able to tell them apart, that's what makes collecting so addictive. So let's put it all together. We've got the history, the sacred recipe, that unforgettable signature of time, and the incredible artistry. But what is the ultimate source of this amulet's enduring power and its just mind-boggling value? Commercially speaking, the value is just staggering. We're talking about the best examples fetching tens of millions of baht. That could be millions of US dollars for a clay tablet that's smaller than your thumb. But honestly, if you only focus on the money, you're missing the entire point. No, it's true. Profound worth comes from this powerful fusion of things. You have the spiritual purity of Somdet To's original mission. You combine that with the sacred power that's literally embedded in its ingredients. And then you add the tangible scientific proof of its long, long journey through time. Which leaves us with one final, really fascinating question to think about. What truly gives an object like this its power? Is it the holy ingredients it's made from? Is it the scientifically proven age that's etched into its very molecules? Or is it simply the unwavering faith that millions of people have placed in it for more than 100 years? The answer? Well, maybe it's all three, all fused together into one remarkable little object.